Information has a life cycle. It's born, it goes through some transformation, then its life ends. To make the most of information while reducing the risks associated with it, we need to manage the entire life cycle from raw data to the use or consumption of insights in decision-making and to sunsetting the information altogether. There's a tendency to just let the data accumulate and deal with them as needed, and we rarely think of sunsetting data. However, the values and the risks are present throughout the life of information, and not considering the entire life cycle not only keeps you from getting the best value, but can also lead to issues that diminish the gains, make it a loss, or worse, put your entire organization at risk. You get data one way or another. It could be that some technology application automatically generates the data for us in real time. It could be that we acquire data from somewhere else, or that we intentionally collect it. Aspects of data sources frame the statistical validity of the conclusions drawn, so this is not trivial. What we collect, accumulate, or acquire needs work before we use them, so that we can use them correctly and efficiently. This includes cleaning, structuring, developing business rules, among others. We use the data for business or research purposes, and once we start using them, we need to maintain them so that you don't make decisions based on bad input. It's garbage in, garbage out, not just at the time you develop the analytic, but on an ongoing basis any time you use the resulting algorithm to make decisions. A one-time activity to clean the data is effective only if you have a completely static database that will never be updated. This is generally not the case. And at some point, pieces of data become ineffective or can no longer be used for one reason or another, so you withdraw them from service or even eliminate them completely. Analytical activities occur mainly during the use stage, and analytics has its own life cycle with similar stages. Insights are drawn from the analytics, and they too have their own life cycle. Unfortunately, the focus today is still on how to get and use information and almost none on how to sunset. But at some point, the costs and especially the risks will outweigh the benefits. And there are risks and costs at any stage, so they would have to be managed throughout the life cycle. What does information management mean then? Without data, there are no insights, so we need to adopt a broader perspective than perhaps commonly understood. Data quality gets a good bit of attention today, and of course there's a lot of effort going into the security and the privacy issues, especially for regulatory reasons, although it's often addressed more from a technology angle. But there are other important issues that impact how well we can get value out of data, how to store data, how to best structure and integrate them, and even how to best interpret, use, and explore data. The so-called democratization of data requires much more than technical training and access to information. An insight-oriented organization is enabled by effective governance, functional organization, data strategies, business processes, and technology initiatives to support all of these needs and activities. It does not necessarily involve a significant financial investment. The common challenges I see when it comes to data are the following. The first is just getting value from data, which remains a major issue even after all this time. This is primarily due to misalignment within the organization, even with the best of intentions, and it often shows up in the form of the hammer looking for nails to hit. The second is the perception versus the reality of the data quality. Many organizations have never studied the quality of their data systematically and in depth, so they have no way to measure or evidence the quality of their information. I've heard leaders say at one point during a conversation that they have good data, and at another point during the same conversation that they have bad data. In my experience, a formal evaluation of data almost always has surprises for pretty much every stakeholder. The third is the perception of a resource shortage. When there are too many projects or when projects take longer to complete than we want, we assume that there is a resource shortage. For data, however, that turns out to be the easy but not the right answer in most cases. The issue is generally not the capacity or the quantity of the resources, but something else that keeps the resources from being utilized efficiently. And that can include poor prioritization, misalignment of resources to the need, and inadequate use of the tools, among others. The fourth is ineffective governance. Unfortunately, there is a common misunderstanding of what it means to govern when it comes to information. A typical implementation of data governance doesn't work as it should, and it creates a bureaucracy or something purely for enforcement and compliance, or policing without a real government, which a colleague of mine calls a data anarchy. Instead of solving, this pseudo-governance actually creates problems, worsens silos and conflicts, duplicates efforts, creates more work, and adds to the perception of resource shortage.